Be nice if the ATVO people would get back to us. But yeah, without ATVO running, I would expect it to be good. Well, yeah, no, ATVO will hog a chunk of it. Because I've had to go through that myself. Yeah. That's my guess.
Yep. Let's go.
Yeah, that's fine.
This series opened the season with midget. The cars get bigger and a little more powerful as the wing sprint cars take the stage. We had a full field of drivers at Lima Land and expect the same this round. Aiden Perdue sits atop the point standings, having scored max points. Will it be another strong night for Perdue, or will someone else step up to demand the spotlight? Find out now as the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship comes to Kokomo Speedway for round 2. And you can witness all the simulated dirt track action live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Beneath a setting, who's your son? Hello and welcome. The hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, Joe Peak, joins yours truly, Bill Soup's on, way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties, armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Okay, Joe, a lot of our viewers who are fans of real-world dirt track racing know this place. But as dirt is new to the iRacing platform, dedicated sim racing fans might not know where we're at here. Can you tell us a little bit about tonight's track?
Absolutely. Kokomo Speedway is just a hop up an hour north of Indianapolis. And because of its proximity, as you'd expect, a lot of big names from the open wheel world have come through here over the years. But the track has gone through some changes in its time, and most notably is the addition of some variable banking around the outside. That means you have an absolutely flat inside line, the very sudden bit banking on the very outside rim. It makes this a pretty tough little track to be fast at, especially for powerful sprint cars like these. With it being a quarter-mile circuit, it can feel like pretty tight confines. You don't get much chance to rest, but it's very wide, so you do have room to try and play and experiment. All in all, I would expect this to be a completely different beast to last week at Lima Land, and mistakes will be both more punishing and more abrupt, Bill.
And drivers are out there practicing right now, and you will get a chance to show you what the track looks like in just a minute. But right now, let's take this opportunity to go over the points as we bring those up to you with one round in. These points pretty much mirror what happened in the first round. Now, you can see up there that Aiden Perdue, hailing out of Clinton, Illinois, had a perfect day. He was our fastest qualifier, he won his heat, and he won the main event. That's what gave him a perfect score of 115. 8 points back out of Shahobish, Washington, is Chance Crum. He sits in second. Also back there from Templeton, California, my home state, but honestly, I don't know where Templeton is. I'll have to check into that, is Caleb Montgomery. From Thunder Country, Oklahoma City, is Matt Moore, and another Okie, Chad Wheeler from Muskogee, rounds out the overlay. Joe, let's go ahead and talk about the race details.
Absolutely. It's going to be similar to what we saw last week. As we mentioned, we are in round 2 now. Now, you've noticed we've switched cars. We're going to do that along with all the tracks each time we move around this season. This time it is the Winged 360 sprint car. The setups on them are once again fixed. That's going to stay the same the whole time so that nobody has to futz with that. They have 5 heat races in this one, and they're going to have 3 semifinal races and then an A main. It'll be the feature race. They have cash and prizes, $2,000 and more. That these drivers are competing for. Bill, this is going to be fascinating to watch to see how the skills transfer up to these bigger, faster cars.
It will, and I went over the chart looking at some of these guys, and a lot of these guys race these cars as well. There's a shot of the track. You can see the moisture glistening off those lights as it is nighttime here.
And it'll be good if they've driven these things in real life, because honestly, I don't come from a dirt background. I mostly dabble in it on iRacing, and for me, making the switch from the midget to this thing was a lot more difficult. The midget, you can kind of hop in and you can learn your way around. Yes, it's finicky. Yes, it's twitchy, but you pretty quickly understand its habits. This one, it can just snap on you so quickly. The downforce on it, imagine, there's a good reason why the IndyCar drivers used to come from this world. It's very similar, just on a dirt surface. It just goes from you so suddenly when you have a problem. And you can save it. At this track, it is possible to do that, but you lose a lot of momentum around here.
And we're watching there. There's the number 36 car of Tyler Ransbottom. Ransbottom's backs it in the wall. Practice going on.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be difficult to tell where is the fast line. You can see we do have a low line starting to form. It's so shallow down there. I think it'll be very tough to try and get the shot off the corner. Most drivers, unless it gets really, really ridiculous up top, are probably going to be right in that rim for the fast line. But there's only so much space around this track, Bill, so drivers will be forced to the low line, if anything.
There's Kenny Miller. Hailing out of Pennsylvania. You know, Joe, Pennsylvania has the most racetracks of any state in the nation.
Oh, I did not know that, actually. Yeah, this, I mean, this portion of the country, this type of racing is incredibly popular. I'm from Ohio myself. There's tons of dirt tracks everywhere you go. Indiana, of course, practically the home of oval racing, has tons and tons and tons of little dirt tracks, Kokomo being one of them. Pennsylvania, like I said, has plenty of them. You go down to Kentucky. There's a few up in Michigan, of course. So just something about that Midwest, the Eastern Midwest, it's incredibly popular to hop in these cars. I guess it's one of the more cost-effective ways to go racing.
Yeah. We were looking at Chance Crum there, who finished second in the points last time out. Now that's number 30 looping it around. That's Brendan Rogers.
Yep, looks like he's going to take another car out.
There's the 5 of Gary Gibson.
Now, I expect attrition to be more of a factor in these races, Bill. Since I said the accidents happen a lot quicker, there's not going to be a lot less of saving the car. If the cars start to tumble over, if you lose the wings, you lose a lot of downforce. At that point, it's almost pointless to keep going unless pretty much everybody has run into trouble. And in which case, sometimes you can scrounge something together. But the midgets, you could tumble those around and keep going. These things, if you wreck them, you're in a lot more trouble.
One of the rule changes that they did, and I kind of approve of it, early on they were going to thin the herd down to 32 before we came racing, and we're looking at the number 21 and Emerson Axum right there. What they decided to do, let's have everybody race. So everybody and his brother gets to come in, and Joe, they're going to let heat races do what they're meant to do. They're going to thin the herd that way. You get 5 of them, and the top 2 will advance straight to the A-main.
Exactly. Now, the downside to that, Bill, is that you're going to have a wider variety of skill levels. And if you come up on lap traffic, being able to deal with that could wind up being an issue. And especially if that driver themselves are struggling with track conditions, you can see are changing very, very quickly. So if they slip and they have a problem where they spin in front of you, your race could be ended, and you could go from leading the race by half a lap to suddenly having to work your way through the semis up to get to the A-main.
Yes, indeed. They do have those semis where they'll advance 2 more out of that if you don't make it through the heat. Oh, I love that camera shot. Oh, no! That's what happens when you hit a pothole.
Well, it wasn't a pothole. It's those tires. Now, we saw the drivers clip the tires a little bit, and they could get away with it in the midgets. You can't do that here. You really, really don't want to clip those big, big white tires at the bottom lane. But you do want to try and flirt with them if you're going to try and run that bottom line, at least that one at the very apex. I have a feeling we'll see at least more than one car go end over end when they hit them.
Corey Day out there racing tonight.
Listening a little bit to our race control, chatting with the drivers, trying to fill them in. They've done a really good job of trying to communicate with them this season, Bill. I've been impressed with them, making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, getting these things organized, we've tried it before. It's like herding cats sometimes. They got a good system, though. 5 heats, 3 semis, and then the A-main. No yellow flags in either of those semis or heats. Ben-Hur Racing.
Yep, there's no caution to save you. Really, honestly, like I said, though, I mean, if you find yourself in a big accident, really the only way that the caution could help is if you have a spin, Bill. If you have an accident, you're probably not going to come back out. And if you do, you're not going to be competitive. So we will see some spins. I found it embarrassingly easy to get the car turned around, especially coming off the corners. For some reason, especially when this track gets slick, the car can feel completely fine, and then once you try and power off the corner, it just wants to turn way too much, at least for me. And if they're using the iRacing baseline, and I suspect they are, one car gets stuck on a tire there.
That was Kobe Sidro that got stuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, I expect they're going to be experiencing similar struggles.
Saw Kobe get centers on a tire. There's Kobe racing out of Fresno, California. That is a city I know. Back to the guy that I hope is a guitar player, and that is Gary Gibson in the 5.
Not quite spelled the same.
Oh, you know it isn't, is it? Okay.
Close enough. Sounds like it, though.
All right, he's off the hook then.
You can see already not only is the berm starting to build up, but look at the track rubber in, and we haven't even hit qualifying, Bill. For those who are coming over from the pavement side, rubbered in sounds good, but here on the dirt side, it's going to make it very, very slippery. And the other thing, real quick, Bill, is the tires. If you're running on that rubbered in area, they'll go quicker.
I tell you, if you're a sponsor with a complicated logo, this is the series for you. A lot of sponsor. Oh no, a lot of sponsor area on these winged 360s.
Watch Kaiser try to work his way around. You can really get a sense of that steep banking on the outside edge of the track. It really struck me the first time I tried to drive here, Bill, just how difficult it is. I kind of had to work my way up to try and get used to rim riding quite so much, especially straight from the outset. So it's such a different track from what I've experienced to the other ones here on iRacing.
Everybody putting in their practice time. Now, we do have a full field here. This is solo practice, so don't be fooled. That's one of the magics of sim racing, where you can go out and practice, but you have the track to yourself. But we have a large turnout today.
The good news is the track will revert somewhat. That they've set it so that the qualifying will have what is considered low usage. So it'll be a little bit worn in, but it won't be quite like what you're seeing right here.
There's a man who sits second in the points right now, Chance Crum. Crum did pick up a heat win in the season opener. A perfect day. You get points for being the fastest in qualifying. They award points to the top 5 qualifiers. You get points for your heat, and you get points for obviously the A-main.
And just like in a lot of racing, Bill, that means that it all comes down to consistency. The drivers that are going to take away the championship and the big prizes are going to be the ones that can keep it together week to week, lap to lap, and obviously race to race too here in these events.
There's Cody Sidram again. Sidham racing in his familiar number 3. We're getting to know all these drivers.
And checkered flag is out, Bill. We're getting ready to go racing.
And we close up looking at the points leader as practice is done. Now we get down to putting in laps that really mean something.
Yeah, that's a little bit nicer looking track. Let's see how these drivers fare doing those hot laps. Now, they'll only get 2 timed laps out here, Bill, so pressure is really on to perform. You got to read this track quickly.
On board with James Adderchuk. And qualifying will be done before you know it.
Watching the first ones come in, yep, and there's one who's going to be having to climb through a lower order split.
I think I saw that being the 83. I could be wrong, but I thought I got Chance Crum, but he did get a time in.
Yeah, Crum's the fastest at 11.2. He's actually got 2/10 over Brennan Rogers, which is an impressive gap at a quarter mile.
There's the guy who sits second in the standings right now, as it does not take long to get qualifying over here. 2 laps, everybody does it at the same time. Number 44 finishes his run. That was Carson Batterby. And
Kaiser
the
work his way
05.
around.
That is Matt Kaiser.
Most of the drivers are getting laps in. I'm seeing a few that either have left the session or are waiting a little bit.
That's Evan Spaulding in that black car. He has not put in a time. He's looking to get one in. That is a scary looking car. That's like a pirate machine. And Spaulding locks into, I believe, third. I'm not sure where he set it. 17th.
I'm watching the last of this bottom to see if anybody is not going to be able to get one in. Carter Batterby looks like he won't. Travis Mahoney hasn't stepped out there yet. Most everybody else is essentially just running some warm-up laps from here on out. And I don't see any of those drivers hopping out there. Now, we still have 2.5 minutes to go. And obviously, since it's, 12-second laps, they're going to have plenty of time. You don't want to dilly-dally too long.
Might be time to go in, catch your breath, get ready. Of course, only a handful of them are going to be racing here right away.
Some of these drivers do like to watch and kind of see what others are achieving, just to give them a little bit better inkling of what they can do out there.
That's working the top line. That's Reiner Go. Man, he is really up on the top.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of it. And you can see he's cutting down on the corner exit. Same as always here in dirt racing. You really want to get that shot off the corner. So as much as you want to ride the high line, you don't want to ride it all the way around. You want to kind of just cut down that little bit at the very end as he clips the wall into one.
What I've noticed about dirt racing, and I've watched it a lot just as a spectator, haven't got to commentate it much, but you really get the idea of it's good to be fast, but it's maybe better to be fast where nobody else is. Like to, if you can be quick where somebody else can't race, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it really rewards those who both can, I keep calling it read the track. You have to be able to spot and kind of see where looks like the moisture is going to be, where the speed is going to be. But be willing to also break out and try those things and handle the car in a variety of situations. That's one thing I love about dirt racing, Bill, is it essentially awards the most adaptable drivers. And in sim racing, sometimes in the past that hasn't. Yeah, drivers like that. I expect everything that's happening. Dirt does not do that. It forces you to not expect anything.
It is fun, and we'll see a change. We'll see drivers find new lines, not even in the main, but even from heat in those little 8-lap heat races. They'll look for different lines. Okay, I believe we are just about ready to grid up for heat number 1, first one of 5. Full slate of racing on tap here for you on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Yep, everybody's completed, but they're letting the last 15 seconds just tick down. So about roughly 2 seconds splitting the field between what is around, it looks like 45 drivers. And we've got the first grid up.
Okay, and with that, let's go to the heat number 1. And this is going to be Joe's Racing Products heat number 1. Joe's Racing Products, designed and manufactured quality and innovation race products in the United States. As you can hear, some of the rowdy fans yelling up at the commentators, get the show on the road. We're ready. Chance Crum and Aiden Perdue make up the front row. Gary Gibson and Bryce Lucis in row 2.
Then you've got Dustin Davidson starting 5th and Kobe Stidham in 6th. Andrew Evans will be P7. Connor Gross will be 8th. And Tyler Ransbottom will round out the 9 in this first race.
There you go. 8 laps on tap here. No yellow flags. Top 2 will advance. Let's go racing.
We'll get 2 pace laps behind the pace truck, as always. Lord help us if we get a dirt track that is over 1 mile and we only have one pace lap. Nine cars in the heat. Got a little bit bigger field than last week, so that also will be an adjustment for these drivers.
All right, jumping out in front. Crum takes the high line. Watch the blue car underneath. That's Hayden Perdue. He gets it from coming up top.
Oh, he's too shallow into the corner. We got a little bit of action behind them. I think that is that's Cody Stidham and Bryce Lucius who found themselves turned around, but they get it going again.
The racing gods are fickle, as they have put the two drivers at the top of the points together in the very first heat. You're looking at the guys at the top right now. Up in front, that is Crum, as they are swapping positions. There's the point leader, Hayden Perdue.
Yeah, Perdue's being a little brave. Oh, he comes in way too hot on that one. Not sure if he's going to be able to pull the over-under here. That may have given it up. Yeah, looks like Crum now has the spot pretty solidly. An attempted slide job, that's just not going to work.
These guys are having fun racing. What they don't want to do is get together and have to make it work through one of the semis. That's Gary Gibson back there in the number 5, looking on, trying to find a path to the transfer.
Yeah, and look at how drastically different it is from last week on the racing line. Remember how we expected that high line to be the consistent one. Here, that is actually coming true. Not many people as our two leaders come together.
That's going to slow up the car of Perdue, but I think he's going to be all right. They come around. They're diving for the win. The momentum off the top is going to go to Crum. As he picks up the win, Hayden Perdue is going to get the second transfer spot. Gary Gibson in third will not transfer. Joe?
Davidson will be 4th, Bryce Lucius 5th, Cody Stidham 6th, and Andrew Evans 7th. Tyler Ransbottom and Connor Gross rounded out, and that will be the ones that have to go to the semi.
With that out of the way, it is time for the heat number 2, and this is going to be Factor 1 chassis presenting this one. Factor 1 micro sprint chassis have been providing an unfair advantage for over 30 years. For more information, go to factor1racing.com. As they're getting up for this grid right now, let's go ahead and give you that one. I'll give you the front couple rows here. It's going to be Brendan Rogers inside of Corbin Hayslett. Carson Batterby back there in his number 44 car, flanked by Chad Wheeler. Joe?
5th, it's going to be Ryan Gaunt with Matt Kaiser behind him. Kenny Miller will be on the inside of the next row in 7th. Joseph Island in 8th. Garrett Andrews rounding him out in 9th.
Again, 9 cars here. Makes me a little bit worried if we are going to have that 5th heat, but we'll see if that plays out.
And the other thing to keep in mind here, Bill, is they are not refreshing the track between each of these heats. So as it goes on, it's going to get tougher and tougher. The track's going to get slipperier and slipperier until we get to, I believe they're going to refresh it for the A-main. Let me check on that before I confirm, though.
Brendan Rogers in the 30th on the pole position here, the 43 of Corbin Hayslett outside of him. Here we go! And the inside spot is the preferred spot. Rogers gets their first look at the momentum from Hayslett as he's going to clock into second. They are side by side for third position. The 88 is Wheeler. The 44 is Batterby. Oh, in the wall!
That was second. Yeah, that was second place. I think Hayslett, who's now all the way down to 4th, he's able to recover. You can get away with that a little bit. The car might not be handling too well now.
Hayslett had a taste of third there for a minute. He slid up in front of Carson Batterby. Now he gets into the back of Batterby, and Hayslett is really off pace now as he falls back into 5th.
Yeah, nightmare scenario. He's almost to the tail of the field at this point. But look at Rogers. Rogers has got a hold of this race by the neck.
Having a bit of a secretariat experience here as he is pulling away from the field. He's got to negotiate that slower car. He does that easily, and that is Joseph Halen, who's going to go and bring that car down into 5th.
Yeah, and that's good to see. Once you're getting to be a lap down around 2, you're really don't want to be ahead of the leaders unless you know how to handle being lapped. And some of these drivers, and there goes Hazlett. His race is now just about over, I'd say. He went up and over.
Meanwhile, working on the white flag is Brendan Rogers. All you little soldiers in Soup's clipboard army, mark down this name. Brendan Rogers picks up an easy win in heat number 2. Chad Wheeler is going to get second, Joe.
Batterby just misses out, but gets himself a third. Kaiser fourth. Gaunt fifth. Hazlett winds up sixth. He does manage to finish somehow. The very battered car. Miller seventh, and Highland eighth.
No rest for the weary as we move quickly on to heat number 3. This one is brought to you by WR1 Sims. Built by racers. For racers, WR Sim are the choice of industry professionals like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. Check them out at wheelermetals.com. All right, let's go to your poll for heat number 3. On the front row, it is Matt Moore with Corey Day flanking him. Carter Batterby in third, and Evan Spalding in that wonderful black machine going to be in fourth.
James Andrewchuk next to him, P5. Then it's Christopher Townsend, 6th. Cole Roberts, 7th. And Ryan Mitchell, 8th. Only 8 cars in this one, Bill.
Watch out for the number 35, the pirate car. The Jolly Roger back there. That is Evan Spalding. And you got yourself a solid black car like that. Yeah, you're always faster. Matt Moore and Corey Day fill up your front row.
Yeah, Spalding was on the ball in practice, but we'll see how he fares with a bunch of other cars around.
Oh, mercy. The truck pulls in. Race control telling everybody to gather up. They don't want anybody laying back, sandbagging a little bit. Carter Batterby in the 10 follows suit.
Bad start for second place. Day gets a shove from behind, and he might be able to collect together. In fact, he almost gets the momentum for first, and he's going to duck it down low, Bill.
Wow, I thought he had to check up. Now they're 3 wide. They get together. They're banging from behind.
And
that
Townsend,
was Matt Moore that got together. Go ahead.
Yeah, Townsend unfortunately wound up on his lid. He had to take a tow.
So from third position up to the front, it's Carter Batterby. He's being chased by Corey Day, who had that bad start, but then a great end to the first lap, and he is quick. Watch the 41 dive it down low. He's miles ahead of Batterby right now, but Batterby has the momentum off the line, and they continue to dance as they work their way on lap number 4.
Woo! Great move by Batterby. He saw him coming, ducked down low, but they get together.
And that's going to kill the momentum of Day. That puts Matt Moore in the transfer spot, but it's not over for Day. He's back to second.
Coming back at it. Had a little bit of a lapped car in the way that blue machine was Ryan Mitchell.
Mitchell got him rolling out of the way. 2 more laps to go. Well, 1.5 actually. Day now comfortably in second. Matt Moore, your pole sitter, on third, working the last lap. He's been up, he's been down, he's been all around the grid, but right now it's Carter Batterby going to get that transfer spot. Corey Day was the most exciting driver. He'll advance as well.
Moore is going to miss out with third, Spalding fourth, where he started, and Andrewchuk fifth, and it's Roberts, Mitchell, and Townsend rounding things out. Really, credit goes to Day. That was a phenomenal drive to get it back together.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote him off early on, but he was able to get right back in it. Well, here we go. It's time for heat number 4. Chalk Sticks. Chalk Sticks offering the best torsion bars money can buy to the micro, sprint, midget, and sprint car markets. Chalksticks.com. Check them out. With that, let's go ahead and give you the starting grid for heat number 4. On the front row, it's Chase Randall. He's going to be flanked by Jonathan Schaefer. Emerson Axum goes in the inside of row 2. In 4th position, Keenan Posey.
Then you've got Caleb Montgomery starting 5th, Grayson Springer, P6, and Scott Bradley in 7th. 8th and last on this heat will be Danny Stratton.
Myself a little correction there on the number 7 cards. Cannon Posey. Boy, you can't help but wonder with a name like Posey, if you got to be an old-time race fan to remember that name in Indianapolis. I believe it would be Sam Posey. You gotta figure that maybe there might be some connection.
That is indeed him. I don't know. We'll see. Certainly sounds like a racing family name as the pace truck takes off.
Randall getting a taste of getting the power down there in the number 12, as does Jonathan Schaefer. Race control telling the drivers to go off iRacing's green flag. Asking everybody to be nose to tail. I don't think you'll have any complaints from the guys back in row number 3.
Yep, it looks like we didn't get our last 2 out on the grid, so just a 6-car field for this one.
Sam Johnson sitting inside of row 2. Posey on the outside. Time to go green. Posey gets a great jump. Coming from the outside, but he gets closed off, and he's going to be high. Trying to get that done from the outside of row 2. Up in front, it's Chase Randall. The battle is for second. That's Axum down low.
Oh, and someone, trying to figure out who that was that shuffled his way up to the lead. Schaefer's going to hold it for now, but it's a lot of shuffling around. Chase Randall almost had it for a moment.
And then up in front, that blue car was Axum. He had the lead. He got a little bit of punt there from Schaefer. Now Axum dives it down low. My goodness, but the momentum goes to Randall off the top. All the lines are working. Caleb Montgomery now in third in the 33.
Surprised we haven't hit the saturation point with the top line. We're only seeing a few drivers go down low, and that's if they feel like they've got no other option. Montgomery, the only one I see right now doing that.
Randall and Axum sit 1-2. The car in fourth, working on the top side. That is Schaefer, puts it in the wall, trying to get around Montgomery, but he keeps the momentum going. Schaefer up to third.
Something is not working for Montgomery. He's falling backwards, can't seem to catch him. But now they've got lap traffic. This is Scott Bradley, who's trying to hold that high line, which is not going to be good for everybody else.
They work the white flag lap. Randall makes his way around. Bradley, the lap car will not count. It looks like Randall is going to get there. Car number 21, Axum, will get the next transfer spot with Caleb Montgomery in third. Outside looking in.
And Grayson Springer on the last lap gets by Posey, who finishes 5th. Bradley 6th. We did have Schaefer duck out onto the track at the last moment to give us a 7-car field.
And I believe we are definitely going to have a 5th heat right now. And that's going to be sponsored by JPM Precision Machines. Building quality quarter midgets and junior sprint parts right in the heart of Oklahoma. Check them out at jpmprecisionmach.com. And as we start to roll on the pole, it's Ryan Ergo. Colton Collins going to be outside of him in row 1. Christian Bruno and Parker Leak fill up row 2. Joseph.
Row 3, Preston Perlmutter with Jackson Bishop starting P6. Then you've got Colin Mitchell in 7th. And Travis Mahoney has not taken the grid, so he's going to start from the pit lane.
My apologies to Ryan there, my road racing experience. I just have to say Ergo. I very easily could be Ergot. Let's go with the European field right now. A little flavor to this event. Ryan Ergo, it's time to go, and the 40 is out in front. Colton Collins back in the 82, working the top side. Down below, that's Christian Bruno.
And the car in third with a lot of connection problems. That's Collins. He's blinked back now. We've seen, but he gets hit, and that's Perlmutter getting him.
And now Perlmutter gets into Parker Leak. They're coming from all directions for Preston.
Oh, and this was going to allow second place to streak away, but Bruno hits the wall.
Yep.
Now it goes to Perlmutter.
Bruno's in the wall, and that car is really weak. More contact going on. Leak gets together with Mitchell. So let's set the stage. Ryan Ergo out in front in the 40, but continues to blink for me. Preston in second is Preston Perlmutter.
You saw in the background, that was Bruno on his lid. He gets it turned back over. But we had another car turned over. I didn't see who it was. It was a red car.
I think it was Colin Mitchell, perhaps. We work lap number 6.
There's our leader. Really just has this track to himself other than the lapped cars up ahead of him.
There's a driver in second with about a half-second lead on Parker Leak. White flag is out. Oh, there is a race for second. Meanwhile, our leader, Ryan Hergott, is going to get the win easily.
Preston's going to get it. He recovered. Both he and Leak, unfortunately, got into each other in the very last lap, and it was Preston who was able to get away from the incident the quickest.
There was some serious lap traffic that those guys had to deal with there. Okay, we are done with the heat races. That means now we're going to go 10 laps. Again, no yellow flags. These are for the drivers that did not qualify. The top 2 advance. This is Algaia Performance Parts. This is the semi number 1. Your one-stop shop for everything high performance in the Midwest. Who's in this race, you might want to know? Well, let me tell you. On the pole, that's going to be Gary Gibson. Second, Caleb Montgomery. Then the second row is filled with Matt Kaiser and Colton Collins. Joe?
James Andrew Truck finds himself P5 with Kobe Stidham in 6th, Scott Bradley in 7th, Kenny Miller 8th. Jackson Bishop hasn't gridded up yet. Christopher Townsend, though, is out there, and he will be gridded 10th.
Again, they continue to talk to the drivers, explain them what's going on, what needs to be done as they work their way around. Little home cooking here for Gary Gibson as he hails from Nobleville, Indiana. Sitting on the pole, would like to make it to the main event. Racing in the number 5.
This is where tensions really heat up, Bill, because you didn't make it through on the first one. Now you've got to get up to those top 2 if you want to race anymore at all the rest of the night.
My dad used to tell me when the light shines the brightest, the collar sews the tightest. But we'll see how that plays out now. Who is a cool customer out there? Who will make it to the main event? Gary Gibson says, Soup, it's going to be me. I'm in the pole position. I'm number 5. I'm ready to go. It's my home track. I can do it. Gibson gets a good jump. Look at the momentum on top from Montgomery. See you later to the field, says Montgomery as he gets a big lead. Gibson keeps working the top. Down below, that is getting into Gibson. That was
Andrew Chuck.
Yeah.
Gibson carries on, though, and all that melee allowed Kobe Stidham to get up to 3rd, but that's not quite where he wants to be. He needs one more car to get through.
Stidham in 3rd. A little mistake by Montgomery. Lets Stidham get side by side on the top. The momentum is going to let him drive off there. He runs out of track. He's still going to try to get the lead. He takes it off of 4 really high. Dives it into 1 and 2. He is in front right now. Can he keep it going? I think he's going to hold on to this one. A great job of racing. Montgomery now in 2nd. Gibson in 3rd.
Beautiful job by Kobe. Caleb is still in this. He's running 2nd. Gibson, he's got to start hustling, though.
That indeed was some impressive driving from the number 3. Working down low, getting into the leader was Gibson. He has to check it up. He stays off of him. Montgomery on the top side. Gibson working down low. All this going on behind Stidham.
Yeah, and even though it's not working for him, Gibson's doing what he's got to do because, remember, he can't just sit and ride in the line behind them. He's got to start experimenting. Otherwise, he's just going to finish 3rd, and that'll be his night over.
They work lap number 8, but remember, these are 10-lap events right now. They go around Kenny Miller, who's calling today. He brings it into pit lane. Stidham, Montgomery, and Gibson out in front. The question is, can Gary Gibson in the number 5 get up and put some pressure on these guys? They work lap number 9.
I think it's going to be over for Gibson. He's way too far back unless we see a major mistake from the top 2.
Working the final lap. I think Cody Stidham is going to be safe to transfer. Caleb Montgomery has over a second lead. Back to Gary Gibson. Gibson is not going to get there. There's your front 3.
Kaiser's going to finish 4th. Andrew Chuck just comes home in 5th ahead of Townsend. Then you've got Collins crossing the line in 7th. Miller, as we said, did not finish. Bradley and Bishop are gone as well.
We move along to another 10-lap race. This is the Sharp Advantage Semi number 2, specializing in customized racing safety products of the highest quality. Check them out at sharpadvantagesystemproducts.com. And with that out of the way, let me give you the starting grid for this one. On the pole, it is a familiar name. This time it's Carson Batterby. He's going to be inside of Parker Leak. That black machine of Evan Spaulding still trying to transfer. He'll be in 3rd and is 35. And Bryce Lucius in 4th. Joe?
Number 7 of Cannon Posey starting 5th with Corbin Hazlett P6. Then the number 68 of Colin Mitchell will be in the inside in 7th. Ryan Mitchell will be 8th and Tyler Ransbottom 9th. Danny Stratton is not gridded up. Same thing with Connor Gross.
Mitchell and Mitchell back in 7th and 8th. Sounds like a law firm in my neighborhood here. Carson Batterby in the preferred position right now.
Starting to see a little bit of shine out on the track. That's not wetness. That is the rubber starting to go down on the high line.
Oh, a horrible start from Carson Batterby. He's passed by not 1 but 2 cars. He gets it back. Parker Leak out in front. Batterby is really... Leak is loose and Leak has lost it.
That's going to give it up to Bryce Lucius now in the lead. Spaulding's holding on to 2nd. Hazlett's going to try to take that away as they go 3 wide and they come together.
Oh, it's a big chaos back there for 2nd position.
That's Posey who wound up sideways and somehow going to get the car back upright. I'm not sure how that happened.
Corbin Hazlett was involved in that one. He kept it going straight as well. That puts that black pirate car, number 35 of Evan Spaulding, up into 2nd. They continue to bang behind. There are 3 cars involved. Ransbottom in the mix.
Hazlett.
Also Collins Mitchell.
Yep, and Hazlett actually had to take a tow from that contact. It was too damaged to continue.
Bryce Lucius out in front. Negotiating lap number 6 of 10. The question is, can Kevin Spaulding keep the lead? Carson Batterby is coming, and coming quick. Watch the number 44. He's on the hunt. Oh, but that'll stop him. Ryan Mitchell, the lap car.
That was horrible placement on his part. At that point, you really need to hug down low, and unfortunately, he just drifted up into the racing line. Oh, Batterby's trying everything, but maybe a little too much there.
Boy, they just keep putting obstacles in front of him, and he keeps working it. Bryce Lucius working lap number 9. He's a little loose right now, though, but he keeps it going. Spaulding still having to race. White flag is out.
Just
there will be a fight for 2nd.
Wow.
Working the back part of the track, it is Bryce Lucius. Spaulding with about a 4-car length lead, about a 3-car length, about a 2-car length lead, about a 1-car length lead, but he runs out of time. Evan Spaulding will get 2nd. Carson Batterby tried his best, could not get there.
Barely squeaks through. That's going to be Colin Mitchell, who finishes 4th. Ryan Mitchell right behind him in 5th. Then Tyler Ransbottom, Corbin Hazlett, and Cannon Posey rounding things out.
We continue on now. So many. This is now heat number 3. This one and one more event left. Clausen Marshall Racing is sponsoring this one. Racing in honor of the great Brian Clausen. CMR specializes in grooming young racing talent for the upper levels of motorsports. Check him out at ClawsonMarshallRacing.com. Okay, let's go ahead and give you the lineup here for this one. On the pole, it looks like it's going to be Matt Moore.
Well, hopefully he just spun off track. Sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
Oh, Matt is trying to get it going. He's got time if he hustles. Dustin Davison is going to be slotted in second. Grayson Springer and Ryan Gaunt round out your top four.
Christian Bruno will be fifth. Cole Roberts sixth. Andrew Evans seventh. And then John Schaefer eighth. Joseph Hayland, in ninth, and Travis Mahoney in 10th. And we're about to go green.
And we do indeed. Up in front, that's Christian Bruno. Remember him? Making a dive down, that's Grayson Springer in the 24 on the low side. Oh, in the wall.
The car sideways, Davidson. Another car gets hit and turned over. That was Mahoney.
Bruno was out in front, but now he is at the back. That's good news for Andrew Evans.
Here's fighting for second and for first now, actually. Springer's trying to get in it, but he's a little bit too shallow. That's going to give Gaunt a chance. Oh, now when the leader gets hit, that was Cole Roberts sliding up.
He did a little bit of slide job. He got there, he closed the door. There's no regard. Now he puts it in the wall. That leaves an opportunity for Grayson Springer to get back in. Here comes Jonathan Schaefer for the lead. Schaefer moves out in front.
This is looking like some desperation on a lot of these drivers' parts. They really, really know that they've got to hustle to get up into the big show. Schaefer's sitting the best, yeah.
Schaefer out in front. Now working the low line is Cole Roberts, but with the momentum up top, that's Ryan Gaunt in the 27. Gaunt will have nowhere to go. They get together. Gaunt's going to have the advantage. Oh, now he gets it too far around.
Yeah, it unfortunately, Roberts lost his momentum, so he's way back. The good news for him is both Bruno and Springer are struggling. They look like they've got some sort of damage. It's still a long ways up to get to Gaunt, though.
Schaefer and Gaunt, 1 and 2, and comfortable.
And look at how rubbered in that high line is, and yet it's still the desired line. The low line doesn't seem to be working all that well.
Oh, and at the wall is Schaefer, but I think he's got plenty of time to get it going as he's going to come around on the white flag lap. Jonathan Schaefer will advance, as does Ryan Gaunt. Joe?
Roberts, unfortunately, not going to. Grayson Springer to finish fourth. Christian Bruno was the DNF's. Evans comes around 6. Davidson, also a DNF. Highland as well.
All right, we have made it through 5 heats and 3 semis. So now it is time for the main event. And let's bring up those race analysis for you right now, and we'll tell you what this one is all about and how far we're going. This main event is sponsored by Hergot Real Estate Group. And this is the A-Main, serving the greater Indianapolis area. They specialize in helping racers find the home and shop of their dreams. HergotGroup.com. Now you can see right there we're going 40 laps. There is an incident cap. It's 18, and the yellows are on. And so with that, let's give you the starting lineup for our main event. And Joe, it looks like it's going to be Chase Crum and Brandon Rogers going to fill up the first 2 spots. Carter Barterby and Chase Randall, Ryan Ergo and Aiden Perdue behind that. Chad Wheeler and Corey Day, Emerson Axum and Preston Poolmutter after that. Go, Joe.
Kobe Stidham will be in 11th with Bryce Lucius 12th, Jonathan Schaefer 13th, and Caleb Montgomery starting 14th. Then it's Evan Spalding and Ryan Gaunt just eking through at the end.
All right, let's get this racing underway here. The main event, round number 2 in the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship. The come to the green flag. Gather up the chicken steak, cover around the cows. The horses are out of the barn, and it is Chance Crum. But he's not going to be able to hang on to it. And right now, it's Brennan Rogers down low in the 30.
Wow, Rogers made that low line work in 3 and 4 really well. But most everybody's still going up for the high side, except for Brennan. Boy, Brennan loves that low line in 3 and 4. It's not doing too bad.
Doesn't do it again. He's able to stay out in front. That's Chance Crum chasing him.
And now he hops up top. So not completely happy with it. Behind them, Randall's in 3rd, and Purdue is running 4th. Very close to Randall, we should say.
Back there in 3rd, Chase Randall. Chase, a great name if you're going to be a race driver. We have a caution.
I think that was Perlmutter.
Oh, it was one of those nasty tires.
Let's see. Yeah, he took it in way too shallow. I can tell you, Bill, with my family from Indiana, they are tars out here.
So what does that do? That puts Brendan Rogers out in front, Chase Crum in 2nd, and Chase Randall back there in 3rd. Again, I love race drivers named Chase. You know, if you wanted your kid to be a race driver, really a more successful name would be like Caught. I mean, Chase means he's always behind, doesn't it? I don't know. Just like.
Well, it'd be, I think Chased would be the one you
Chased.
want. You wouldn't want
Chased.
Caught.
Right, there you go. That would be even worse, wouldn't it? Good. Chased, perfect.
So you name them Chase, and you make the middle name start with D. But
D.
let's get to names better later.
Oh, look at this.
We're gonna go racing.
Double file. All right, Brendan Rogers gets the jump. Chase Crum
already
in
a caution.
2nd.
Sloppy start, and I think that was Lucius involved.
There were a lot.
Oh, you know what? Lucius cut down a little too low. Didn't realize that her got was to the inside. That just unfortunately turned him around into a bunch of cars.
Yeah. Rule of thumb is don't crash into the guy who's sponsoring the races. Forgot Realty Group is part of this one. Ryan racing in 8th position right now as we come back live.
So, despite Brendan Rogers starting outside the pole, he's been handling this race very well. Now, he hasn't run away from Crum, Bill, but it doesn't look like he's been threatened so far. Now, that may change as the conditions change. We'll need to see how he handles it if it gets more slipperier as things go on.
Getting ready to go again as we work lap number 13 when we go green. The hard charger out there is Ryan Gaunt, up 7 spots into 9th. Time to go green. Brendan Rogers, he's been out in front the whole time. He continues that. That car diving down low there was Aiden Trudeau. It didn't work for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, that sticks him back in 4th. He's going to try it again. It does interrupt the momentum a little bit of Corey Day, but he still slips through. He's just going to keep trying it.
As we go up for, a little contact for the lead. Rogers able to hang on, but that was Crum that got into him. Crum with now a drive off of 4. He'll have a dive in there.
And this is the skill of Rogers. He came in so shallow and somehow managed to keep ahead on the way off the corner. Really good control of the car to deal with that situation. Crum still threatening him, though.
Crum sits 2nd in the points all over the back of Rogers right now. I've been watching Rogers. He can work any part of the track. He's not scared to take it down low if he needs to.
And all this screwing around with those two means that Randall and Purdue are now right behind them, even though they've got a 4-car breakaway. He's looking for 3rd. Slide job doesn't work. We got a caution. I think Spalding involved in that one. Started
Emerson
with
Axum as well.
Yeah, started with Axum, it looks like. He was pulling around with a pass ahead of
Caleb Montgomery.
looks like
yeah.
Montgomery, yeah. That just looks like a racing incident to me, unfortunately.
But cars involved in that one. Evan Spalding, Lucius Bryce, some big names back there. We come back live.
We've got a few green flag stints. Not super long ones, but we are getting a few in there.
After it's all said and done, our hard charger is car number 33, Caleb Montgomery. He races in 8th. He started in 14th. Was able to make this race because of his success in the semis. Time to go green. He's been out in front the whole time. Brendan Rogers, he's going to continue to do that. Chance Crum behind him. Very slow in getting contact. That was Chase Randall that slid up into the blinking car. That is Aiden Perdue.
Kobe Stidham got the worst of everything, unfortunately. He's all the way in the back now. And another caution.
Yeah, we're focusing up front. The action is really way back in the back, and that's where it caught up. Chase Randall is on his side.
So he was an innocent victim on this one,
Yeah.
actually. He got run into by Carter Batterby, I think.
And this is Kobe Sidham that comes by and gives him a little extra spin. Thirteen cars still on the lead lap.
Yeah, Randall, after he got run into, you saw him clip the tire there, and like you said, another driver finished him off, unfortunately.
Interesting, though, this is all going on behind the number 30 of Brendan Rogers.
Starting to run out of
time. Yeah.
Sorry, starting to run out of laps too, and this is all working for Brendan Rogers. These cautions, if he keeps getting them, as long as he can keep these good restarts, then he could run away with this victory.
Oh, I've said it before. I am really hard to pass under yellow. That's when I'm really race my best. So right there, Chance Crum says, give me a chance. If I get some green flag runs, I'll take a shot at you.
And you could see the blue machine of Purdue blinking a lot. That's an internet connection problem for anybody new to sim racing. Generally considered poor form to continue racing hard when you're having that issue, because you can easily accidentally wreck someone.
Comes back now for me. That is your point leader of Aiden Perdue. All right, here we go racing. Not a lot of laps to go. 10 more after this one. Oh, I think we're going to get a new leader. He goes a little bit high and he surrenders it. That's Brendan Rogers. Chance Crum gets the lead. Rogers now under attack on the low side. Sliding up in there, that is Corey Day. But look who's back. It's Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers way too shallow on the restart. That's what cost him, but he recovered beautifully. As soon as those two started fighting, he took advantage.
Brennan, they are coming on all sides. That's Corey Day right behind you. With a good run is Chance Crum, the blinking car of Purdue back there as well.
So we stay green.
Rogers now with a little breathing room as the laps start to click away.
It's like Randall and Schaefer involved in this one.
Another caution.
And this actually started. So Schaefer was trying to come down and Stidham was right in front of him. That kind of checked him up.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately that brought him together with Randall.
Yeah, there were some slow cars up top that those guys were both trying to get away from, and they just got together. Well, if this was a normal race, we go yellow with only 4 laps to go like this, I'd say we're over, but I think we got a shot at getting this back to green again.
Yeah, but the question is how many laps? Now they can't do a yellow flag on the final lap for anybody who hasn't watched iRacing oval racing before. But if they get it on the second or 3 laps to go, they will end under yellow, unfortunately.
The lights are off the pace car. It will pull in this time around. We are working lap 37. When we go green, we'll have 3 laps in anger. 38, 39, and 40. It was a bad start last time from Rogers. A much better start this time. He takes the low line. With some momentum up top is Corey Day. He gets there. Can he make the top drive off? Boy, it's ever so close. He does not get him at the line and a yellow flag. I think Brendan Rogers is going to get credited with the win unless he runs out of gas. Corey Day will get second as the yellow comes out.
Waiting to get confirmation. Corey might actually have gotten him.
Oh, timing and scoring is showing Corey Day up in front.
It was incredibly close. They're not even sure who's got it. We're going to wait to get confirmation. Because it showed Corey Day ahead, yeah.
And I have the official, not our timing and scoring, I have the official iRacing scoring here. Brendan Rogers is out in front in the 30, but my timing and scoring.
Oh, it's showing Aiden Purdue.
Now it's showing Aiden Purdue out in front.
Is this correct?
Well, it might have been who just led, though. It could be who led that white flag lap. They may be getting this sorted out. It might have been who was across the line first under caution.
Bill, we might have to sort this out under break.
We might have to as we're looking at this. We'll come and give you an unofficial winner of this one, and it looks like it's our point leader, Aiden Purdue, but we'll come back to check that out later. Don't go far. We'll take a short break, but we'll come back to figure out this last lap, who won it, talk to some of the drivers, put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the CSI Shocks Spring Season Championship, round number 2 here from Kokomo, and the results are in for the main event. We are going to give you the official iRacing timing and scoring as we see it, but the race stewards are going to review this, and when we come back for round 3, we will update you on the final scoring. Aiden Perdue is getting credited with the win. I would be surprised if he gets credit with the win when this is all said and done. Chance Crum and Chad Wheeler go second and third. Carter Batterby is 4th. Evan Spalding gets 5th. Corey Day, Brennan Rogers is slotted in 7th position. Preston Holmutter in 8th. 9th and 10th go to Kobe Sidram and Bryce Lucius. Joe, round them out.
Caleb Montgomery is scored as 11th with Chase Randall 12th. These are drivers who are all a lap down or more. Ryan Hergott in 13th, Jason Schaefer 14th, and Emerson Axum 15th. Ryan Gaunt is going to be the last one and DNF'd today.
With that said, I guess we'll wrap this up. We're waiting for some drivers to give them a little more time. Joe, some darn exciting racing here on dirt.
Yeah, and I think my prediction that it was very different from what we saw before came true. And if you think this is exciting, Bill, we're going to even more powerful cars next week with the 410 sprint cars. So that's a jump up in engine oomph they've got underneath them at a much bigger track. So the stakes are going to be even higher. It's interesting to see how they're stepping the drivers up the ladder. Now, it's not going to continue completely up. They're going to jump down to lesser powered cars later on in the season. So we'll really get an idea of who's good overall on dirt. But the change of the guard here, going from the midgets to the big boys, was fascinating, to say the least.
Well, don't tell my cardiologist about that. He's going to have to up my medicine as we get the adrenaline starts to pump for that one. All right, it looks like we're ready to close this thing up, as nobody wanted to come in and talk to us because we're too scary of an interviewers. GSRC would like to thank the sponsors, and especially the series sponsor, CSI Shocks, for making this broadcast a reality. On screen now are just some of the equipment and software used to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our iconic music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. The CSI Shocks spring season returns in 1 week. That's going to be what Joe just talked about, so you don't want to miss that one. Sliding across your screens now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, you can go to Global Sim Racing Channel. Check us out on Twitter, GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, or Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting the big red button, and don't miss a thing here on GSRC. Now, before I close it out, I have breaking news that I will read. Joe, what do you see right there? You have news for us?
Looks like they're saying the official finishing order is Stidham, Rogers, Day, and Stidham? Rogers wins, Day second, Stidham third.
There you have it. Okay, so with that said, we are off to have fun storming the castle. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as our winner is, one more time, they're going to give it to Rogers as the winner. Brennan Rogers gets the win and is number 30. With that said, we're off to finally have fun storm the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.